wonderful morning to you out there. It's really great to have you join us on the Break It On Papers Review this wonderful Saturday morning. My name is GBOLABO, famous school, and as usual on the Break It On Papers Review, we'll be looking at some of the major headlines out of the national dailies. And we have the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and of course a host of other papers here for review this morning. And later time we'll be having Austin Edimo join us for the analysis proper. We'll start off very quickly with the Punch newspaper, and here on the front page of the Punch newspaper, terrorist Bello Turji's threat, how families risk lives to enter Niger Republic. That's according to Sokoto residents. Lagos orders post-mortem as twins die after vaccination. Impeachment for Barra Rivers lawmakers in showdown. How Trump's visa policy trapped us in Nigeria. That's according to American Family. Sokoto holds special prayer for peace, unity. And Senegal raised concerns over security ticketing ahead of AFCON final. Resident panic over demolition in Anambra community. And still here on the front page of the Punch, we have this one. Gunmen kill 2 Enugu cops at checkpoint. Lagos building fire kills 103-year-old woman. And Lagos Task Force dismisses extortion claims, clarifies Okada enforcement process. And this says police arrest 20 suspect, recover 24,000 illicit drug pills in Jigawa. Crew member dies in onset explosion in Ogun. Still here on the front page of the Punch newspaper, Nigeria among worst as West African hunger deepens. That's according to United Nations. Transport firm seeks stronger collaboration on road safety, and man backs tax laws to aid recovery. All of this is some of the headlines there being churned out of the Punch newspaper. And before we leave the paper, ADC does not belong to anybody. That's according to spokesperson. You made the right choice. ADC welcomes Dele Momodu, and ADC condemns violence, calls for peaceful politics in Borno. All of those headlines are what you will find here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. You look at The Nation as well. For Barra, all eyes on Rivers Chief Judge. Supreme Court upholds conviction of Lamido's son over undeclared $40,000 and gateways to graveyards. That's a piece there. Babayemi calls for commitment to APC. Atiku's son's affection to our party political earthquake. That's according to Lagos APC. LIRS insists on January 31st deadline for employers' annual tax returns filing. Ogumona cautions Alafi over statement on rotation of Oyo Oba's council heads. And Osun 2026 APC group begs for female running mate slot. Vows 300,000 votes. And we have more here on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Omaye's son picks APC chairmanship form in Ebonyi. Akpachike planned to step down in 2027, says SDP national chairman. An ex-Senate minority leader dumps PDP for APC. Tinubu hails Akonde at 87, describes ex-governor as mentor, moral compass. And Onje commends Alia Omale for APC Eve revalidation as members turned out in Orokam. I won't reach an agreement before I will join APC. That's according to Kwankwaso, Minister of Labour, flags off APC e-registration in Abia local government. This is some of the headlines there out of the Nation this morning. We also touch on the cable and get some headlines there out of the cable. And just still the Break It On Papers Review here on your Laugh to Die 32 FM 94.9. On the cable this morning, despite court order, Rivers Assembly says Chief Judge has acknowledged receipt of Fubara's impeachment notice. NMDPRA petrol importation dropped to 42 million in December. Local supply increased by 64%. ADC removing Tinubu in 2027, only way to reclaim Nigeria. And Kogi IRS paid 1.16 billion naira to tax consultant without breaching CBN limits. Witness tells court in Yahya Bello's trial. He chose humility over division. Tinubu pays tributes to Imam who protected Christians in 2018 Plateau crisis. Christopher Musa bandits don't fear God. States must stop negotiating with them. And Chile, Calvin Bassey is the best centre-back at AFCON. And court restrains Rivers chief judge from receiving impeachment notice against Fubara. And more here. And this is a bit of sport. 30 news. Anthony Joshua returns to gym, says it's mental strength therapy. No casualty as classroom block collapses in Lagos. External validation of progress. And FIU hails Nigeria's removal from EU high-risk list. All of those are some of the headlines there out of the cable. We have Austin already standing by to do the analysis proper for us this morning. But before we do that, we take more headlines here. And out of the Guardian, we also have a couple of headlines here from the Nigerian Guardian front page. Court restrains Rivers Assembly CJ from impeaching Fubara deputy. Outrageous 9-month-old twins die 24 hours after vaccination at Lagos Health Center. Supreme Court upholds conviction of Sule Lamido's son over undeclared $40,000. And Open Golf Tournament highlights unifying power of sport. That's according to XA. A bit of a feature there for sporting news. Lagos to partner LCCI on world-class convention center. The living without borrowing. Oberevore's new Delta is real. Impeachment. Rivers Assembly directs Chief Judge to set up panel to investigate Governor Fubara deputy. And we have this one. Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Aliyu lays wreath begins distribution of food items to 500 widows. Building a circular food economy can fight food waste. And Wusade Realty Commission in Ibadan targets affordable housing global expansion. All of those are some of the headlines here out of the Guardian. All right, we quickly also look at Vanguard newspaper this morning. In case you're just joining us, this is the Break It On Papers review from your Laughter Light 32 FM 94.9. And stalemate in Rivers, House proceeds with plans to impeach Fubara. Deputy sends letter to Chief Judge. And that's in the Vanguard front page this morning. Budget, federal government spends 38.2 billion naira on Gowon Obasanjo IBB orders in 22 years. $9 million on lobbies to be decries wasteful spending, urges focus on human development. And coalition, Tinubu is strategic leader. Only God can remove him in 2027. That's according to Professor Samojo. Operation weighty in retrospect. And we have the sum budgets. Federal government spends, all right, taken earlier. Defection of Atiku's son, symbolic coup to ABC, personal matter to family. Ekpuma from peaceful kingdoms to kidnap flashpoints. And this says $9 million lobbying contract, image management of misplaced priority inside Nigeria. That's some sort of feature there from the Vanguard newspaper front page. And before we leave here, let's take two more. The affection of Atiku taken earlier. Bono ADC Transition Management Committee Chair orders invited by police. 2027 North set to name preferred presidential candidate in April. That's according to Arewa Group. ADC will learn lessons in Oshun, Ekiti polls, and show me speaking there. All of this are some of the headlines here out of some of the national dailies in Nigeria. And we have Austin already here. Austin, it's great to have you back on the Break It On Papers review. Good morning. Hello, Austin. Can you hear me? All right. Well, we hope to get Austin back on for the analysis proper. I guess we'll take a couple of headlines more here while we'll bring him back on the Break It On Papers review for analysis proper. All right, we take more headlines. All right, it's still the Break It On Papers review. We'll take more headlines. Fubara's impeachment. Rivers Assembly confirms Chief Judge receipt of notice, and court lacks power to intervene in impeachment process. That's according to Rivers Assembly. And EPL Chelsea to sign 2 new players for Liam Rosenior, and EPL GBOLABO names team that could win for 4 trophies this season. Okay, more here on the Daily Post we have this morning. 2027 continuing under Tinubu APC government scary to contemplate. That's according to Bolaji Abdullahi. Nigerians have agreed that APC government has failed. That's according to ADC. 2027, how we can get Tinubu out of power. All right, still ADC here. You made right choice. ADC officially welcomes Dele Momodu to party. But no violence against ADC unacceptable. Party defense inaugurations. Lagos East APC leaders seek united front and internal divisions. And top on the headlines this morning is the impeachment notice sent to the Chief Judge of Rivers State. And of course, many of the dealers this morning captioned the headlines in different words. And this one is from Daily Post. Fubara's impeachment, Rivers Assembly confirms Chief Judge receipt of notice. And also, there is a court injunction stopping the Chief Judge from accepting or going ahead with this notice coming in terms of Fubara's impeachment by the House of Assembly here. And this is saying the Rivers State House of Assembly says the Chief Judge of the state has received and acknowledged official correspondence conveying notices of alleged gross misconduct against Governor Simi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Onwa-Odo. This has been on the headline in the last 1 week as to whether or not some individuals within the State House of Assembly would like to conduct an investigation into some of the conduct of the sitting governor. And this is not the first time we've seen instances like this. It's just that Rivers State appears to be a very peculiar case, especially as many focus has been on that particular state because it's been a case of godfather and political son situation. That's the way many Nigerians have positioned it or postured it to be, and playing out very ugly, especially as we're expecting that we have major contenders going into the 2027 elections itself. And for many Nigerians, this could be a major blow in terms of how this could be handled, especially by the ruling All Progressives Congress. Because now we are seeing 2 big lions, or 2 big elephants trying to fight. And somehow some people will say it is the grass that would suffer. But in this case, who is the grass and who are the elephants in the house? And these are major political questions that many people want to pose across. But how would this be handled? And the intervention of Tinubu, this is actually not the first time this will happen, and the president in a way tried to intervene initially, but this is taking another dimension, especially as we have Fubara, the sitting governor, joining the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. We don't know how this will play out, but all in all, there have been allegations, and allegations have to be proven in one way or the other. And we are yet to see what will come out of this, especially having the Chief Judge at the center of it to give a go-ahead to have a thorough investigation been conducted, if at all we have Fubara abusing his office in terms of misappropriation of public fund. But some people will also posit that what is good for the gander is also good for the goose. What happened to his predecessor or his master in office, as some people have called it, while he was in office, was some of his activities also probed. Why was his books not checked? Why is it that Fubara's book will be facing the test of time? And those are some of the questions I'm already asking. So if you're going to probe Fubara, what happened to Wike books? Are you going to gloss over that as well? Or is this just about politics and way to get Fubara out of the picture, especially when we have Wike making a categorical public statement that he has to go? And there have been a lot of issues around this. This is a very dicey situation, and we're hoping that the legal process, as the House of Assembly intends to put this forward, will take prominent, and will have these issues well sorted out. We won't have instances of individuals being shot on the foot, and we'll have words not being able to be retracted. Let's see. It's a test of democracy, and we're hoping that this truly will put our democracy in a good front, because Rivers State appears to be one state that the country also generates huge revenue in terms of oil. Whether we like it or not, oil is still the mainstay of the economy, and what happens in that state affects every part of the country as well, especially as the fact that it's been in the news for a while, and we're hoping that this will be addressed very quickly, and in such a way that we have justice to be served, across all board. All right, still the Break It Down Papers Review here. We'll be taking more headlines as we progress on the program this morning. Do remember we also live on Facebook in case you want to join us on our live stream, 32FM 949. In no time, we also open the phone lines to have you contribute on the program. All right, another headline here says Bodija explosion, residents seek more intervention, justice 2 years after. And this is one of a recurring marking of this festival. We'll call it anniversary here. 2 years after, we still remember what happened on January the 15th when we had the explosion, and so many houses, properties were touched as a result of this unprecedented or impromptu, what many people never really thought could happen. It was very devastating. Some lost their loved ones in the course of this disaster itself. But what is most appalling is that up till date, some families have not gotten some kind of succor, and it was an opportunity for them to ask the Oyo State government to ensure that it does not return a controversial fund, which it's been in the news that the government received on behalf of the Bodija people, especially those who were directly hit by this explosion itself. And there's also an appeal here that these individuals should be considered if the government will be releasing the fund, and it should not return it, especially at a time where many of them are still written in pains, and some of them still counting their losses. And if you could look at the story, it's saying that there must be increased intervention and justice for victims of the January 16th, 2024 explosion. And this is coming from the association's president, Pastor Migwa Bamgoshi, appealing to the state government at the second year remembrance service for victims of the explosion. And I think the government too at that event is saying that they are aware of the controversies that have been generated as a result of some funds being received on behalf of individuals who were hit or victims of loved ones here that are yet to be attended to. That these are some of the things that they've heard, but that the government has been trying to ensure that all parties are reached, and they feel the pains of the people and what the people are going through in terms of those who have lost valuables as a result of the explosion. Then if you look at also another argument, some already are saying that the government needs to be reminded that these individuals who were affected by this explosion needed to have some kind of relief, and some are even questioning the attitude of the government. Why is it that some of this information were not made public so that the fate of individuals who were affected, could in a way be met up with, and they wouldn't have instances of thinking that at the federal level they've been forgotten down to the state level. But from what we've seen playing out, they are not even demanding anything. They are appealing to the state government to do the needful so that the plight to be met. Waiting on 2 years after, it's not a good one. There are many of those, they are even saying leave the roads, let the roads be there for now, at least let the lives eat and let them have a shelter. And I think that is paramount, because If you look at the logic of life, you must have life to say you want to build your roads or your other facilities. It is human being that will live there. So if there's no life when you build roads, so who is going to use the road? And I think that's what they are projecting there. We are also thinking that the state government will, as a matter of fact, accede to their demands and ensure that those who need support at this time in terms of the Bodija exclusion will have their demands being met as quickly as possible. All right, there also indication here that only residents within a 500-meter radius of the epicenter were compensated, although the impact extended beyond that range. So there's so much more to look at on the Bodija explosion aftermath. Hoping the Oyo State government will quickly swing into action and listen to the cries of these individuals who are expecting that the state government will come to their aid, especially when they now know that there is a fund somewhere that needed to cater for their needs. All right, still here on the Break It Down Papers Review, and we have this one: terrorist Bello Turji's threat, how families risk lives to enter Niger Republic. Still talking about the level of insecurity in the country. Under the swell of Nigerians, we have some miscreants threatening the sovereignty of the country and killing lives, abducting individuals. And as well, we also have the federal government saying do not negotiate with terrorists and do not give them pardon. And that is quite logical. What are they fighting for? Those are some of the questions that have been tabled. What is their course of action? Is it that they want a situation where they want to bring their own ideology and force it on people? Is that what could be termed to be a good cause? Because if you're fighting for something, people must understand what exactly you're fighting for, and does it have to include bloodshed and having to kidnap people, extort money from people who don't even have it, and put their families into so much pains and hurt. Now, the government is saying any governor who does that will be penalized, will go through some kind of sanctions and the rest of it. But then, if you look at the terror attacks in Nigeria, the banditry, which some people still have issues with that issue of banditry, call it what it is, call a spade what it is. A spade is a spade, and it shouldn't be in a way beautified by calling them bandits. These are criminals within our system, within the country, territorial boundary. And if you see that they are bandits, they're killing, they're adopting people, they are ensuring their lives are going through pains, and you could see Nigerians fleeing to other neighboring country for safety. This is not so good one, and it appears to be a big blow on our security architecture in the country. And if you look at the police setup, police itself is supposed to ensure internal security, and we have what do we call it, the military looking at external aggression. But here we have other forces who are expected to be monitoring the borders of the country, doing internal kind of policing itself. So there's a lot of restructuring and overhauling that needed to be done, in spite of the fact that we have the joint task force being brought up to ensure that there is safety in the country. But there's so much more that is going on in Nigeria, and this is not so good one. If you look at this headline, and it's saying some displaced residents of Issa local government area of Sokoto State have lamented increased banditry in the area, saying their family members are undertaking huge risks to move to Niger Republic, and that is not too good news. They said that their relatives fled to the West African country following renewed threats and attacks by gunmen loyal to the notorious bandit leader Bello Turji. So we're talking about technology in this 21st century, and how much more Nigeria is still laid back in spite of the ICT sector. At a point in time, I think we also have Ministry of ICT. So what is all of this? All of these instances creating budgetary allocations for such a sector, and nothing is being done in terms of installation of monitoring surveillance, security surveillance across the countries, where individuals who will just make threats and just go in an orthodox way. It's not ideal for a country as big as Nigeria. It's not good enough that our citizens are no longer safe in their own country and they have to flee and go seek safety somewhere else. All right, you're still on to the Break It Down Papers Review here on your Laughter Die 32 FM 94.9. And of course, we're not having no stint this morning, obviously. And still taking more headline. ADC removing Tinubu in 2027, only way to reclaim Nigeria. It's a quite interesting headline here. And politics has been played to a kind of a crescendo. That many individuals will be wondering what's going on here. The question is, have you put your house in order? Because Nigerians want to see varieties, leaders who can actually attest to the fact that they understand the pulse of the people. And if you're saying you want to change things, there must be some level of conviction that individuals will see that you're bringing a new leaf, you're turning a new leaf, and the country is going to be facing what appears to be better days ahead. But when you have instances of individuals wanting to recycle themselves, and they have also acted as political actors in the country, and nothing at all has been seen while they were there before, well, having to see all of this, some people will still say it's part of politics and politicking ahead of the big picture. And this is the African Democratic Congress, ADC, says removing President Bola Tinubu from office in 2027 is the only way to take Nigeria back from those he said have hijacked the country. And now it's also saying Bolaji Abdullahi, ADC spokesperson, said there is no way Nigeria can be reclaimed while Tinubu remains in office. I we saw this happen during the Buhari administration. Buhari has to go for the country to get better. We also had it done during the Jonathan period, even Obasanjo at a point in time. So it's been a rhetoric. It's been an instances where we say we want a change, and the political parties are the one forcing it on us that they will make the change. I think this time around, the pendulum should swing, and the people should be the one demanding the change, not from the political parties. Those are some of the argument we've had over time now, because the conversation has really changed, and the people are saying, give us the power. We need to be the one having the power to pick and take decisions by ourselves. All right, we have to go on our first break right about now, and we'll be back on the Break It Down Papers Review to take more on the program this morning. Please do stay with us.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Wake up, it's choco time. Donald Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open, pour, and enjoy the chocolatey ride. Donald Choco 3 in 1. Ooh, taste it, love it. Donald Choco 3 in 1. Ooh, I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Ẹ̀yin fans mi.
It's okay.
Ẹ lọ sórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ní 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ àsápù.
It's okay.
Win from over 80 million naira in cash and exciting prizes in the Golden Hunt promo.
This promo, there's no need for advert anymore.
Because
my mom alone can hunt down any gist. How much more 80 million naira in prizes with the whole family involved?
Naija, let the Golden Hunt begin. Just buy any Golden Morn Golden Hunt 30 gram or 45 gram promo pack. Look inside for a unique code and dial star 8011 star 1 hash for a chance to win big. Promo ends April 15, 2026. Golden Morn. Make every day golden.
أهلا وسهلا فمرحبا يا شهر الكريم. Oṣù bùkún oṣù àforíjìn oṣù Ramadan máa wulẹ̀ máa rọra oṣù tí Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah sọ wípé gbogbo ẹni bá ṣe dáadáa kan níbẹ̀ òun yóò san ní ẹ̀san lọ́pọ̀ nínú iṣẹ́ ládá tí ẹ̀dá tún lè ṣe tí ládá ẹ̀dá ó tún fi tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah ó ní kí ẹ̀dá ó máa ná nínú tí Ọlọ́run fún lóore sójú ọ̀nà tọlọ́run kí ládá tèmi tìrẹ lè tún tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah pàtàkì jùlọ nínú oṣù Ramadan ìdí nìyí tí ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 tá a kalẹ̀ kà sájà kan kókó ọ̀zùgbẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn fi ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àwọn ètò ọlọ́kun òjọ̀kan tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ nínú oṣù Ramadan náà yìí láti jẹ́ kí ládàá tiwa náà tún kún kẹ́kẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba àwọn ètò tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ bíi wáàsí ọlọ́gbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú oníṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún oníṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá àti oníṣẹ́jú márùn-ún bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni ìrun pípè lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan àti àwọn ètò kíni àti ètò ìpolówó ọjà lówó tí ò gajara lọ fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ̀lọ́ Ali ní 081 43 38 0224 Yusuf 080 53 56 11 31 Ramadan ọdún yìí kò ní jẹ́ àṣemọ fún wa o Allahumma àmín.
àwọn tí tún dòde oṣù Ramadan mọ̀rí abá.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Krima.
And where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Krima.
If not tea, Papa Garita.
Kivo Krima. Kivo Krima.
Life is a series of decisions, from where to live, who to marry, to even what to eat. As you navigate these choices, we hope you've made the right ones so far. Now, let's talk about making a smart investment decision. Investing with Soft Sands Property, a leading real estate organization in partnership with 32 FM 94.9, could be one of the best choices you'll ever make. With our innovative estates like Orange Estate in Ido, Mango Estate in Akufo, and soon Banana Estate in Omiadio, you have numerous excellent options. Partnering with Soft Sands Property could be the game changer you need. Call or WhatsApp 0911 555 0055 or 0916 461 5000 or visit www.softsandsproperty.com for more information. Soft Sands, created to house the world.
Win from over 80 million naira in cash and exciting prizes in the Golden Hunt promo.
This promo, there's no need for advert anymore.
Because
my mom alone can hunt down any gist. How much more 80 million naira in prizes with the whole family involved?
Naija, let the Golden Hunt begin. Just buy any Golden Morn Golden Hunt 30 gram or 45 gram promo pack. Look inside for a unique code and dial *8011*1# for a chance to win big. Promo ends April 15, 2026. Golden Morn. Make every day golden.
Attention, dear listeners. Please note the following changes to our program schedule, effective Monday, the 19th of January, 2026. Papers Review will air from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. Smart Kids follows from 7:30 to 8 a.m. Baba Vendor will run from 8 to 9:15 a.m. And Scoreboard will air from 9:15 to 9:30 a.m. Please also note that the podium will now air on 2 days. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon and Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m. 32 FM 94.9, filling the world with laughter.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM 94.9, the antidote to depression.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It Down Papers Review here on your Laughter Dial 32 FM 94.9. And of course, before we open the phone lines, quickly we'll touch on this one. Political scientists fault new tax law implementation, and that's the Nigerian Political Scientists Association, NPSA, has accused the federal government of putting the cart before the horse in the implementation of the new tax law. The association, in a statement signed by its president, Professor Hassan Saliu, said it aligned with the feeling that more avenues were being created for unaccountable governance to strive through the new tax law. Incredible, because if you look at what is going on in the country, there are a lot of malls now that individuals have to fight, because you buy few things and they're taxing you like half of what you're buying. Like how? Some individuals are even arguing in the public that we are not even aware of some of these changes. 7.5% is a whole lot. Some people have not made anything in terms of sales from whatever they are selling their wares, and now they're trying to eke out a living with a little they've been able to sell, and now they still have to pay, and they don't even have extra to pay for some of these taxes. Nigerians are actually not saying that they shouldn't remove tax, but what are these tax being used for? The roads are still in a bad taste. It's still not in a good shape. And the hospitals, you still get to some of these primary healthcare centers, there are nothing there for people to get in terms of medication. Those are some of the things that the taxes should be able to take care of. That's some of the questions that have been put out there. So if you're milking us to pay taxes, Nigerians are asking, what are these taxes being used for? At least there will be a point where Nigerians will say we are seeing the effect. There are a lot of houses, communities that are out of power supply for weeks, for months, and it's counting. They have to get their own source of energy. Even the road leading to their businesses, they have to fix them with granite. And now the government will still come back and say pay tax. For what exactly? That's the questions many of them are asking. So if you're asking us to pay taxes, that's what Nigerians are saying. What are you using it for? Because we can't supply our own lights using solar energy, fixing our roads with granites, ensuring that we have a better life, and you still tell us that we have to pay tax. So there are a lot of instances that are not adding up, and I think that's where the argument started from. And this is actually not an isolated case coming from this, what did we call it now, Political Scientist Association faulting the new tax law implementation. I think all other things has to be in place and understanding, and there must be proper public education. We have the NOA, the National Orientation Agency, doing a lot of public advocacy as to how these things happen, what you're expected to do, because some people still feel that you're trying to extort them when you ask them to pay taxes when they buy things at the malls, and it's really an embarrassment to have individuals fight themselves saying, do you know how much is in my account? You're asking me to pay what? How? There are a lot of issues that have come up as a result of this taxation in the country itself. But I think Nigerians are not asking for too much, for more explanation and for visibility. What are you using it for? Let us see. Is there power supply? Do we even have a usable train system? Because you have people still jumping from one bus to the other, paying exorbitant prices to get to their places of work, to get back home. There is no facilities. People just struggle, basically, and they are paying for what they are not getting result for. And those are some of the issues here. All right, the numbers to call in are 070-55,949 or 080-979,949 plus 234-9062,949. We're also live on Facebook in case you also want to drop your comments there. All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good weekend to you.
Good morning.
This Prince Bumi Adefusi calling from Apata.
All right, please go ahead.
Before I react, I don't know how prepared on the newspaper we do it. I don't know. The time being given to us to contribute is too small. So I don't know how you guys will adjust on that. That's that. Right. Regarding the 2027 election, only God knows who will still remain as the president of Nigeria. Only God knows. People will also decide as well, because the decision of people aligns with God's decisions. That is that. Secondly, on tax law, Nigerians don't say they shouldn't collect tax. They should collect their tax first. Before you collect tax from me, I must see that benefit. Is it productive? Is it sustainable? Is it something that will add to the ashes of the commoner? That's the question we need to be asking from the government. No railway, no water, no electricity, no nothing, and you keep collecting tax from us. So government should rethink. I see it as government don't have a pity at all. That's my submission. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much, Bumi Adefusi, for that The numbers to call again are 070-55,949 or 080-97,949 plus 234-9062,949. Do remember that we are also live on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenya with double E's on Facebook. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. How are you doing, my sister?
Fine. Let's go.
Yeah, tax law. Actually, I think there is really nothing wrong in asking for tax. But like you rightly said, what are we really seeing the evidence of it? And two, I also think 7.5 is actually much for people that you want to encourage to pay tax. I thought they should have started with like 2 or 3%. Most especially talking about the bank tax for PO for 7.5. I think they should have gone with like 2, 3 to encourage the people before you now them. And people need to see what those money they use it for, not this share the money thing they are doing. Good morning. It's okay.
All right, thank you so much, okay, for that. The numbers again are 070-55,949 or 080-97,949. Those are the numbers to call into the program this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Bolabo.
Good morning, sir. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Tulu. I'm calling from United Kingdom. Good morning. All right. On the new tax law, I think if we keep saying new tax law, I think we are making a mistake. This tax and VAT, they've always been in existence before this January. I think before now, if you do a transfer, they still take money from it. The 7.5% they're talking about, I think it's not in your money. On the charges, the 50 naira stamp duty that the banks are taking, the charges are already there. Then when we're talking about what they are doing with this money, now they are telling us that all the payee will go to the state where you are working. Now, can we now go back and ask our state governors, what exactly have they been doing with the payee they are taking from people all these years? So I think what is good about this new tax law is that people will now realize and know their enemies and will not be passive towards all the government, federal, state, and every other government agency around them, because now we know that we are the one paying for whatever we should enjoy. And if we don't enjoy it, that is when we should hit the street. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu from England. Hello, good morning.
GBOLABO.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Ade from UI. Where is our GBOLABO? What is fine?
He's fine, sir. He's not available today.
You see, I listen to you basically on the issue of you keep asking for want to change. But to be real, if you look at during Obasanjo time, Obasanjo too far for military where things were already damaged beyond control. But he feeds the nation to a certain extent. And he got it right again and handed over to Yar'Adua. That one continues. That one built in electoral reform that produced this that are damaging the country now. And that one brought amnesty for the Niger Delta. That's what we call intelligence. But you see, where Obasanjo made mistake was giving us that man, Jonathan, who later handed over Nigeria back 200 years backward to these people. Because he was so corrupt. That was why somebody described him as somebody that was doing fantastically corrupt. That was why people have no choice. Even because of Jonathan, my sister, does it make sense for a country to be voting for somebody who have no choice and be saying that, oh, there be, it's okay to rule. Now, bringing Buhari as president was an insult to this country. And we did not stop at there. We now bring somebody that we use a year to argue about the authenticity of his certificate. So Bolabo is not that we are getting it wrong. We got it wrong the last we had all three or thereabouts. Now we're asking about tax, no results. Look, go and see Delta State governor bought 300 vehicles, each 350 million. for all the others in the party. It's going on in those things, it's going on in the state. That's why all the governors are joining their party. So the subsidy money, the tax money is being shared among themselves. Just like the ABC said, the only way to get this country right, the only way is to change this man. If you don't change this man, the country is gone. That's the best of today.
All right, thank you so much, Ade from UI. All right, we are also live on Facebook, 32FM 949. Fanya with double E's on Facebook. All right, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, GBOLABO.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, I can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is John Olaruwaju from Nigeria.
Okay.
First and foremost on the issue of UK and the Sahara and the crisis in the River State. Well, I think nobody knows how it's going to end. So I think it's a developed story, and it's going to continue like that. But what I can say is that as long as Mr. President is still interested in Fubara, I don't think that picture is going to see the light of today. They will just be trying, and there won't be nothing that will come out, because as yesterday, according to what happened, the order given by the court that they should just hold on or anything called impeachment in the River State. Let us continue and see how the story is unfolding. And on the issue of tax, my own point is this: where is the benefit of subsidy removal? If you cannot prove to Nigerians that this is what we use the subsidy money for, how can you be trusted when we are now paying? It's not that we don't even pay the tax. We are paying even before they stop the charges on the 10,000 naira.
Okay.
I think they run these charges up to a year or more than a year. Where is the money? There are some charges, there are some taxes, there are some VAT that Nigerians are paying. Where are the results? So if you don't see results on all these things, how can we have trust issue?
All right. All right, thank you so much, John Olaruwaju. Our time is fast spent. Tulokwadiyemi on Facebook says, of the truth, negotiating with bandits is like empowering them the more, which cannot help in curbing this menace. And we also have Sulaiman Sherry says, good morning to everyone. Fubara's impeachment process is an effort in futility. Fubara is already in APC and he will be protected by APC governors and national structures. We take this one, Dr. Mrs. Olebara says, we are now living in a country where terrorists have set our teeth on edge. All right, Honorable Akinkumi Kamil Dakola says, Mr. Abolaji Abdullahi, making mouth about removing Mr. President is a good one, but shouldn't be the one to be making mouth because he's too small. All right, politically. We can take much than this one. We must say a big thank you to all those who called in and sent in their messages as well. And that's the much we can take on the Break It On Papers Review this wonderful Saturday morning. Join us during the week again for another interesting edition of the Papers Review. My name is GBOLABO, famous school, and Baba Fendo is up next. Please do stay with us.